Well, yeah, can't do that. We'll see what happens. I'll call regular city council meeting Tuesday, May 28, 2019 to order. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Alderman Ferrari. Here. Waldorf. Here. Lukosius. Here. Radke. Here. Sapienza. Here. Payton. Here. Ballard. Here. Buffalo.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do you have any public comment this time? Anybody with public comment?
No, Your Honor.
None? Okay, presentations. I'm very pleased to announce a new program that we're bringing to our city called the City of Peru Good Neighbor Recognition. This program gives us the vehicle to highlight some very important heroes in our community. You will hear in just a minute that we have many heroes who are sprinkled throughout the city of Peru, and tonight we will recognize some of them. Heroes come in all kinds, in acts of courage, kindness, and much more. As part of this new program, I'm asking folks in our city to let us know when you know of a neighbor who goes beyond, someone that does something extraordinary for a neighbor. So with that, I'm especially pleased to recognize some of our friends and neighbors this evening. Kay Geese, neighbor who called in the incident reporting smoke and possible house fire provided by a detailed description of a suspicious person. Staying on 911 with dispatch and continued to give information until police arrived and provided critical information to detectives to aid their investigation. Art Geese, neighbor, asked his wife to call the incident in, approached the house with other neighbor attempting to get anyone out of the house that may have been inside, also provided critical information to detectives to aid in their investigation. Joshua Phillips, a neighbor, observed some of the smoke coming from the house and a suspicious person leaving the area of the house. Josh approached the house and opened the door, attempting to alert anyone inside. Took his yard hose and attempted to put the fire out. Also provided critical information to detectives to aid in their investigation. This will not be presented tonight because Randall Garski could not make it. He's a Danco meter reader, a contractor with Ameren, and was in the area and observed a suspicious person, provided a description of the subject, and provided critical information to the detective to aid their investigation. So with that, I would like to give out a plaque, framed with a few little words on it saying thank you for what you've done. So if Art and Kay and Joshua would come up and meet over here. And once again, thank you very much, because that was settled immediately. How much time, where's the chief? How much time was there between? Took a total of 7 minutes. 7 minutes from the call in of the fire, until we had somebody that was out. That's because of what these residents did. So thank you very much. It's a good example. Thank you. Now, Kay, that wasn't a ticket out the door. That was just a presentation. I know, I'm just kidding.
I'm waiting for my tail there.
There we go. Okay, we have a motion. Thank you, Artie. Do we have a motion to receive the minutes and place on file?
So moved, Your Honor.
Second, Your Honor.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. We have a motion to receive the financial reports and place on file.
So moved. Second, Your Honor.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. We have a motion to receive the activity reports and place on file.
Second.
Who was the second? Alderman Sapienza, you were the motion? Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Okay, we'll move on to committee reports. Committee, Finance Safety Services, Chairman Radke.
Yes, Your Honor, I have like to make a motion for the disbursements for ending May 29th, 2019, $3,022,095.23. I'd like to have the bills paid, placed on file and the bills paid in the normal manner.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to receive the disbursements, place on file, and pay the bills in the usual manner. Is there any discussion? Have a roll call. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Alderman Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf. Aye. Prokosius.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Sapienza.
Aye.
Payton.
Aye.
Ballard.
Aye.
Motion approved.
Your Honor, I'd like to make a motion to authorize the Board of Fire and Police Commissioners to fill a vacancy created by an officer who has taken a position with the Illinois State Police. Chief, you want to comment on that?
Yes, this is one of our existing staff members who's been with us for, 6 or 7 years. He had an opportunity to become a trooper with the state police. We hated to see him go because he's been just an outstanding officer for the department, but we think it's going to be a real good fit for him. He and his wife live over in Grundy County. She's a deputy over there, so it's going to give him an opportunity to be closer to home. So it's a good situation for them. It's our loss. The state police's gain. Came to the mayor and committee and asked that this position be replaced so we can keep our current staffing level in place.
Okay, I need a second.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Have a roll call. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Alderman Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf.
Aye.
Prokosius.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Sapienza.
Aye.
Payton.
Aye.
Ballard.
Aye.
Motion approved.
Your Honor, the only other update that we have, the committee did hear a presentation on, from a healthcare co-op that the clerk and HR manager have done some research on. This is a co-op that essentially many municipalities, some counties, I believe, that have kind of agglomerated together to merge healthcare under one purchasing umbrella. So there's about 20,000 employees within this co-op. So what that will potentially give the city is some more stable rates going forward. As the more people are in the pool, then you would hope that the rates are a little more stable. So we did hear a presentation on that Wednesday, and we'll keep the city council updated going forward if we think that's a good viable option to stabilize our rates. Everybody knows we had a pretty substantial increase last year, and so we're looking at ways to mitigate that this year. I don't know, is there anything that you want to add, Kim or Dave?
Sums it up.
Well, and there's been, employees have they've been on the Health and Wellness Committee, and they've been starting on square one, so they're aware of it, all different bodies that we have in the city of Peru, so.
Your Honor, if I could just add one thing on that. What this does also, since we're now a self-funded city, a municipality, this will allow our city to get even more information to help control our health costs. This is a great move, great thing for us.
Anybody else?
Nothing
No,
further.
that was just a comment. Okay, anything else from Finance Safety Services?
Nothing further.
Nothing? Public Services, Chairman Waldorf.
Thank you. First up, I'd like to make a motion to approve a quote from Peru Greenhouse to plant and water 20 miscellaneous trees at $360 per tree for a total of $7,200.
I'll second that.
These will mostly be oak trees and tulip trees, and there are various locations through the city where these will be planted.
Anybody with any discussion? Okay, we'll have roll call. Clerk call roll.
Alderman Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf. Aye. Lukosius.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Sapienza.
Aye.
Payton.
Aye.
Ballard.
Aye.
Motion approved.
Yes, Your Honor, I'd like to make a motion here for IDOT resolution for North Peoria Road improvements.
Second, Your Honor.
Any discussion?
Yes, I'll cover this. The DOT resolution for the North Peoria improvements, this resolution states that we are requesting the approval to expend MFT funds for the project. The total amount of MFT funds that's being requested is $1 million.
Anybody else? Okay, we'll have roll call. Clerk call roll.
Alderman Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf. Aye. Lukosius.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Sapienza. Payton.
Aye.
Ballard.
Aye.
Motion approved.
Your Honor, I'd like to make a motion for another IDOT resolution for the Unitite Drive Extension Project, Pisces 1.
Second, Your Honor.
Again, similarly, the DOT resolution for these projects is basically notifying the expenditure of funds. This resolution for Unitite Drive provides the approval of this expenditure of local funds for the project, which our share of local funds on this project ended up being 20%, which is a little over $300,000 for the project. We do have the dollar amount in the resolution listed at $450,000, and the reason for that is if there were any unforeseeable project overruns, we don't have to pass another resolution at that time. So we have budgeted that amount. Worked with Finance Officer Justin Miller. It's something that we commonly do. So that amount is in the resolution for tonight.
And then, I know there's a few audience members tonight that haven't been here for when we've talked about this before. Could you just give a description of what the Unitite Drive extension is, where it goes from and to?
We've been working for quite some time now, a few years, on a private-public partnership between the city of Peru and Omnitrax or Illinois Rail, who is the short line rail carrier north of the city. We worked with them in pursuit of it's called a freight grant through the Illinois Department of Transportation, which is a pass-through grant from the federal highway. The project follows all the federal highway guidelines when constructing and approving the project for closeout procedures. So the project itself consists of the extension of Unitite Drive from Donlar Avenue on the east to Plank Road on the west. The total monies that were received were north of $4 million for the project, which also included the construction of some rail improvements. The roadway portion of the project is around $2 million. So, and we are funding the city's portion with federal STU funds that we receive, as well as our local share funds that we talked about as part of the resolution. The road will be a concrete roadway, able to handle the truck traffic, and one of the goals in the process of obtaining the grant was identifying the need to remove some of the truck traffic from the highways, specifically in the city of Peru in our commercial corridor, which is around 251. So we have talked to all the industry there, and we've received letters of support from each of the industry members located on Plank Road and Unitite Drive and Donlar Avenue. So we're hopeful that this will help with any congestion measures and increase safety in our retail corridor.
To be clear, the city is paying for a portion of the road improvement cost. The city's not paying for any of the rail improvements that are being paid by private enterprise.
That's correct. The rail is responsible for the rail portion, so they receive grant money as well. Then they have a private share, a match to that grant money on the rail. On the local side, we've received grant money for the road, and then the local share was comprised of the STU funds and local funds.
Will it go to bid this year then, or?
Yeah, we've been working with the DOT, so this project is run through IDOT District 3 in Ottawa. So it'll be on one of their lettings. Right now, we're projecting for the August 2019 letting.
It might be done raining by then, hopefully.
We hope so.
Anybody else? Okay, we'll have a roll call. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Alderman Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf. Aye. Lukosius.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Sapienza.
Aye.
Payton.
Aye.
Ballard.
Aye.
Motion approved.
Next, Your Honor, I'd like to make a motion to authorize contracting with Hanson Professional Services, an IDOT-approved negotiator, for the Unitite Drive Extension Project, Pisces 1.
So,
I'll second that.
provide some insight on this one as well. As part of the process, described in previous meetings, any of our projects are kind of a three-phase project, process to the project. And phase one is where we do our environmental assessments and project development reports and things of that nature, the front-end documents for approvals. So we're almost through that process, through the approvals with Federal Highway and DOT. The second step of that process is the design work and acquisition of right-of-way. In this instance, we're dealing with two landowners to acquire right-of-way to construct the roadway. We did have preliminary talks with those landowners and expect that the right-of-way will be dedicated to the city. Since the right-of-way will be dedicated to the city at no cost, there is a step that requires us typically to get an appraiser and appraiser reviewer, which come from a DOT-approved list. In this case, since the right-of-way is anticipated to be donated to the city, we can skip those two steps and go directly to the negotiator. The negotiator files all the proper paperwork with DOT for the acquisition of the right-of-way.
Anybody else? Okay, I have a motion from Alderman Lukosius. I don't have a second.
Alderman Ballard.
Okay, missed that. Okay, we'll have a roll call. Clerk, call the roll.
Alderman Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf. Aye. Lukosius.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Sapienza. Payton. Ballard.
Motion approved.
Next, Your Honor, I'd like to make a motion to seek bids for the 2019 General Fund Street Program.
Second, Your Honor.
Eric, you want to bring us up to speed?
Yeah, again, this one is hopeful that the council tonight would approve us to move forward with seeking bids. However, at this time, I do not have a final plan for each of you to review. We are working through those final plans. Anticipate having them out before the next council meeting. Obviously, time is ticking, but with the weather, it hasn't been on our side to do some final field measurements that we need. But we're very close to getting that out, and I'd like to get it advertised prior to the next council meeting so that we can hopefully have a project awarded sometime in early July.
Does that mean we're going through with the motion to seek, or we're tabling for the next?
No, we would like to continue the motion to seek, but I do not have the final set for review. Everybody will receive a copy by the end of this week.
Anybody with any questions or discussion? Okay, we'll have a roll call. Clerk, call the roll.
Alderman Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf.
Aye.
Lukosius.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Sapienza.
Aye.
Payton.
Aye.
Ballard.
Aye.
Your Honor, I'd like to make a motion to approve purchase of 35 tons of rubber mulch for splash pad playground area for $18,160 from TNT Lawn and Snow LLC.
Second, Your Honor. Jeff, you want to bring us up to speed there?
Yeah, this is a playground equipment that's over by the splash pad. We want to get that up and going. We've currently put pea gravel down right now for a base. We're working on that right now. We have the border in, but we want to go with the rubber mulch only because of the splash pad. We don't want to get regular mulch in there because it'll plug up any of the nozzles and it'll just be very bad for the splash pad. So we're looking at putting rubber mulch in there. I'm going with delivered bulk instead of by bags. It'd be a lot easier, so that's why the price is where it's at. So that's what we're looking forward to complete this project. I'm hoping to have this project done. If it stops raining,
we buried a truck in there today trying to get more pea gravel in, so it's gonna be a couple days before we get back in there, but I'm hoping to get this project done as soon as possible, so they can be playing with it.
How long does it last?
15 years, it's got a 15-year shelf life on it.
Do they have that in stock, Jeff?
And everything, huh?
Do they have that in stock, or?
Yeah, I could get it in a couple days. And it's gonna be a blue, an ocean blue color, so it'll add to the splash pad.
Any other questions? Have a roll call, clerk call roll.
Alderman Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf.
Aye.
Lukosius.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Sapienza.
Aye.
Peyton.
Aye.
Ballard.
Aye.
Motion approved.
Chief, do you have anything? Jeff, no? That's all from Public Services, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, thanks. Report city attorney ordinances, resolutions.
Yes, Your Honor. First, I have an ordinance amending Chapter 6, alcoholic beverages of the City of Peru Code of Ordinances and providing for a Class TH theater liquor license.
So I have a motion to approve the ordinance as written and read.
So moved.
Was it Alderman Radke or Alderman Payton? Alderman Radke. Okay, we were contacted 2 weeks ago on was there a liquor license available for a theater, which we did not have that classification in our liquor ordinance. So depending on what happens here in the next 30 seconds or so, we either will or we won't. Nobody's applied for one yet, but we were asked. So it is what it says. It's for a theater for purchase and consumption on premise in a theater. So
For the record, what is the charge and?
same as the other license, $500. You have the ordinance in front of you, $500 for 1 year for the license. I believe we're at $500 for all of them now,
That's correct.
Except for A2, I believe.
except special event.
No, the,
A2 is $450.
over,
Which one's $450?
A2.
Okay. Okay,
Your Honor, was this liquor license tied to any type of remodeling at the theater or anything?
you're asking a very good question. I'm trying to decide what I can say with the non-disclosure that we have with the mall. What I will say is that Bob and I just met with them last Monday, and they were the most upbeat than we've seen them in the last few years. And the AMC theater in the mall is definitely in their headlights, and they're very upbeat about everything that's going on. And then with this coming through, I'm going to say putting two and two together, yes, without disclosing anything that.
I think it's pretty typical that a lot of modern theaters
Right.
have meals or potential alcoholic beverages, so
Right.
I would hope that this means something's about to move.
Well, it seems like it would, but like I say, there's some things that I can't say, because if you did say it with the non-disclosure agreement, you're doing the wrong thing, so. But putting two and two together, pretty much is gonna come up to that 4. So, we were asked about this, and now we'll take a vote on it and see if it passes, and then we don't have anything. I'm guessing that we'll be contacted back, because we put that attorney in contact with our attorneys, and here we go. So is there any other discussion on it? A roll call, clerk call roll.
Alderman Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf. Aye. Lukosius.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Sapienza. Peyton. Ballard.
Aye.
Motion approved.
Next, I have an ordinance amending Section 114-72 and Section 114-326 of the City of Peru Code of Ordinances to provide for non-standard water and electric meter reading fees.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the ordinance as written and read.
So moved, Your Honor. Second.
Alderman Ballard. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there discussion or questions on that?
So, this ordinance is being approved tonight. It's come before both committees, regarding the implementation of our, meter upgrades, both on the electric side and the water side, and the challenges associated with those meter upgrades, with regard to residents that would choose to refuse to have their meter updated at the city's expense, both the water and the electric. So we've done some research and came up with some language that's consistent with some other municipalities and some case law that was reviewed, or rulings from the ICC, and how Ameren handles it on their side, and came up with some fees associated. So on the electric side, it reads, from time to time, the city may require customers to upgrade their electric meters. As of May 28th, the city is undergoing a system-wide upgrade to replace all electric meters with advanced digital electricity meters at no cost to the customer. If any customer refuses to allow the city to upgrade their meter to the city's advanced technology, the meter will be, they will be responsible for paying all costs associated with maintaining their non-standard electric meter, and will be assessed a monthly non-standard meter read fee of $25 until such time when the customer upgrades the service. And the language on the water side is identical. So if you refuse to have the new equipment installed, there will be a fee associated with the costs. I think the language in the ordinance reads, is currently undergoing a transition, finds and determines the city will incur additional costs and expense reading meters of those residents who refuse to upgrade their water and electric meters. And the council determines the additional costs and expenses associated with those residents refusing to upgrade should be borne by those residents so refusing.
Is there any discussion?
I think it's pretty clear that the goal is to upgrade all the meters so that those meters read back to City Hall automatically, and if we have to send a person to read someone's meter, then there's going to be a cost for the city to do that we're otherwise not going to have to pay. So it's going to be incumbent on that person to pay that cost, and not everybody else in town.
Won't these meters also be an advantage to the resident for things like leaks and that, if they've got something like a toilet that's running?
Absolutely. On the electric side, they'll be a lot more sophisticated in terms of, the most common question I get, which we're coming up to that season, is why is my electric reading so high? Why is my power bill so high? So we could detail out and correlate the usage to the weather and compare it from one month to the next, which will be a big benefit. On the water side, the most common issue that we have is where somebody has a water leak, maybe as simple as a toilet running, or maybe a more difficult one where a hot water heater fails on a weekend that they're away from home. We'd be able to know that happened and alert the residents so they could correct the problem and not incur any additional costs.
So these are a benefit?
The absolute benefit. We have a lot of rental property in the city, so that when we coordinate the moving in and out of tenants, or the sale of property, the moving in and out, there's a requirement to go out and do final reads at the residences or businesses. In this case, we'd be able to access that information electronically, simplify, streamline, provide the information right back.
Any further discussion? Could we have a roll call? Clerk, call the roll.
Alderman Ferrari. Aye. Waldorf. Aye. Lukosius.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Sapienza.
Aye.
Payton.
Aye.
Ballard.
Aye.
Motion approved.
Nothing further from city attorney.
Nothing further? Okay, proclamations, I have none. Unfinished business. Let's see, motion to approve Washington Park alterations for new playground equipment.
I'd like to make that a motion, Your Honor. I believe it's gonna go right east to the shelter, the big shelter.
Correct. I did get the information and forwarded on to the Park and Rec Board.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Okay, we'll have a roll call. Clerk, call the roll.
Alderman Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf. Aye. Lukosius.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Sapienza. Payton.
Aye.
Ballard.
Aye.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve slips, trips, and fall protection? And then we'll have HR Kim Reese give us a little description of that. Do we have a
Your
motion?
Honor, can I do something under unfinished business first?
Absolutely.
I'd just like to ask the city attorney, what's the status on the apartment house that burned on Peru Street? Do we have any status on that? It's been laying stagnant and nothing's going on.
I don't have any update.
Eric, Jeff,
I don't have any update. I think that we were waiting on clarification from State Fire Marshal if everything is complete, so
This is what I was afraid was gonna happen, and it's happening.
get a report and, we'll turn building inspector and community service officer over there.
There's gotta be some code violations that are going
Yeah, oh,
on
yeah.
there that need to be rectified, or the building needs to be raised.
Yep.
I talked to Blake about it today. I told him tomorrow I'll go over and see what the grass looks like. 'Cause in the back, I know there's a grass area back there, and he said he was in contact with the building owner recently, and it was in the insurance hands right now. That was as of today.
Also on unfinished business, how about east wastewater treatment plant wall? How about an update on that? How close are we?
We're still a little ways off. Certainly it's under construction, and obviously all the rain and flooding, isn't helping progress, but, you know, we're fighting through this kind of rainy season, and, we're making as much progress as we can. But we anticipate this construction season will be done.
Are we close on this roadway?
Going in? I wasn't down there today. I don't know what the status is. You mean how they cut it out and how we have the temporary roadway?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay. Anybody else has anything they want to bring up under unfinished? Okay, now I'll go back to motion to approve slips, trips, and fall prevention policy. And do we have a motion, or do we want to hear from Human Resources? You want to just go ahead between yourself and Clerk Bartley?
Sure. What this is a formal written policy. We entered into a highly enhanced loss prevention program through our workers' compensation carrier back in January. So they put together some action plans that we need to comply with. So while we've routinely been doing training under the slip, strips, and falls, it was just discovered that we didn't have a formal policy. So we're putting that together so we're compliant with that. And as I stated before, when we entered into that program, as we become compliant with all the action plan items, then we could receive a 10% rebate on our workers' compensation policy. So, that's
Anything else to add, Clerk Bartley, or?
No, it's a good plan, and we were fortunate that most of the things that they requested we already did, or are doing.
That's a good thing.
So, and we already had a slip, trip, and fall policy, but it wasn't formalized by the council, so that's the action that's taking place tonight.
Okay, we have a motion to approve this prevention policy?
So moved, Your Honor.
Second.
Any discussion? Any more questions? Okay, we'll have a roll call. Clerk, call the roll.
Alderman Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf. Aye. Lukosius.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Sapienza. Payton. Ballard.
Aye.
Motion approved. Okay, do we have a motion to receive and place on file the Illinois Department of Transportation Compliance Review Number 77, covering the receipt and disbursement of motor fuel tax funds for beginning January 1, 2017 and ending December 31, 2018?
I'll make the motion, Your Honor.
I'll second that.
Anybody need anything from Eric on that? No? Okay, we'll have a roll call. Clerk, call the roll.
Alderman Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf. Aye. Lukosius.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Sapienza.
Aye.
Payton. Ballard.
Aye.
Motion approved. Okay, before we go into petitions, as you may or may not have seen out in front, our electric department installed the clock that was donated by the Baker Estate. It's up, it has a cover over it, and tomorrow at noon, we're planning on, hopefully if it's not raining or storming at noon tomorrow, we plan on unveiling it. Hopefully when it chimes at noon, we'll pull the cover off of it. And then I'll say that the Memorial Day was well attended at Northview School, and I would raise my hand to say hopefully Northview School will be the place in the future to have that. So then we're not, like one resident said that after we were done, said, now I knew that you were sitting there looking at us in the audience and not above our heads at the black clouds coming in at the, when we're over at Washington Park, because there's been many, many times when it's either 95 degrees or it's 45 degrees, or there's a storm front coming through. It was great. I would say the bleachers, for those that were there, they were more than three-quarters full.
They were full, and I couldn't tell if it was because it was indoors, so the people were more condensed and spread out all along the park, or if there was actually more people there. But
It was pretty nice. It was dry and it was 72 degrees with no humidity, so it was pretty nice. And everybody, it was a very nice program, and it went over very well. So hopefully that's where it is in the future. Anybody else under new business? Other than, like I said, tomorrow we're supposed to take the cover off the clock, and we'll be thanking Mrs. Ann Baker once again for purchasing the clock for the city of Peru and the donation, and it has a nice plaque on there commemorating her husband, the former mayor, my predecessor of city of Peru for a long time. So very nice. It was a very nice gesture, and it's a very nice clock, and we're a clock city anyway with West Clocks, and we're going to have, now when you say where City Hall is, you'll be able to say just go down 4th Street to the west and look for the big clock, and you'll know where City Hall is at. So it's a beautiful piece.
Your Honor, I'd just like to take a minute to kind of give a little recap on the weekend, past weekend air show. As you know, we were cut short by weather again, but all in all, it was a success. We've had many people contact us and said, we hope that you don't get discouraged because of the weather, which we've had 3 out of the last 4 years. They would like to see us do it again. We're going to have a meeting on June 6th, and hopefully we can make that decision and get the committee to agree to go out and seek the necessary donations to have that again. But I would like to just take a moment to thank the majority of the city council up here who volunteered and did a marvelous job. It's it's a lot of work that goes into this, and a lot of the people don't get the proper thank you, so I'd just like to make it public at this time. We did attract quite a few people. The weather obviously kept many away, but we're certainly looking to try to do it again if we possibly can.
It was a nice event, and the planes, before the front came in on Saturday, the planes put on an excellent show. They did a wonderful job. Some of those guys, they're pretty good at what they do.
Yeah, and the Friday night event was well received, and people really, I think, enjoyed the night air show, and it was something a little different, and hopefully we can come up with something next year to keep this more as a 2-day event. At least that gives you some insulation for weather-related activity.
Anybody else?
The Friday night air show was pretty spectacular. The guy's an excellent pilot, but I'm thinking maybe he has a bit of a screw loose. It was pretty fun to watch.
but our police department, fire department, to serve and protect, and then they were a little doused with mud from head to toe. I think pushing all the cars out of that's a little different spin on serve.
It appeared serve and protect and have fun doing it by looking at some of the pictures I saw. Okay, I'll move on to petitions communication. Communication from Sherman Real Estate LLC requesting variance for property located at 3333 Frontage Road, Peru. I'll ask for a motion to receive, place on file, and turn it over to Planning and Zoning for review and recommendation.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
What are they asking for?
The sign.
It's a variance for an additional sign, marquee sign.
Okay, all those in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Do we have a motion to receive a communication from Northern Properties Incorporated / Simmer Ford requesting a variance for property located at 911 Shooting Park Road, Peru, Illinois?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second that, Your Honor.
I have a motion and a second. Eric, a brief description of what that is?
Yeah, this is looking to do a parking lot extension, and there's certain variances that are required for that extension.
Any other questions? All of those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. We have a motion to receive a communication from Carlos and Maria Larios requesting a variance for the property located at 2212 First Street. Do you have a motion?
Second.
Yeah, this one, just is a request on a driveway variance, so, additional curb cut and driveway width.
Request is to add 12 feet to the west of the existing driveway.
Yep.
Okay, any other questions? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. We have a motion to receive the communication from George Steinbeck of the Right Splice requesting permission to close a portion of Pike Street from 4th Street south to the start of their driveway for an event on June 9th, 2019, from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. They've done this every year for the last 4 or 5 years. They're changing dates, though. Is this going to be...
This isn't the
Well,
German
this-
Fest, it's a different event.
Oh, it's a-
Yeah.
Okay.
Second.
A motion by Alderman Sapienza, second by Alderman Waldorf. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Do we have a motion to receive the communication from James Hardy Building Products requesting permission to hold a car cruise at Centennial Park on August 10th, 2019, with a rain date, hopefully it's not still raining in August, with a rain date of September 14th, 2019.
Yeah, I move that we grant permission provided there's no conflict with the park that date.
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? Okay, so we have a motion and a second to receive the communication and grant permission if there's no conflict with other scheduled events on that same day at that...
There is no conflict.
There is no conflict?
And it's an employee morale activity.
For James Hardy. Okay. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Has any come in since the agenda was...
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Public comment. Do we have anybody with any public comment? Anybody? Nobody's stopped in to see Justin about some ideas on pool finance. So we need somebody to come in and see Justin to go over some numbers and some ideas. But is there any public comment? Anybody? Okay, I do need to ask for a closed session for...
Looking for a motion for a closed session where the purchase or lease of real property for the use of the public body is being considered, including meetings held for the purpose of discussing whether a particular parcel should be acquired or whether the public body is considering the setting of a price for sale or lease of its property.
Do you have a motion to go into the closed session? Was it Alderman Sapienza?
Second.
Can we have a roll call? Clerk, call the roll, please.
Alderman Ferrari?
Aye.
Waldorf?
Aye.
Lukosius?
Aye.
Radke? Sapienza? Payton? Ballard?
Motion approved.